Some stories begin quietly, with a single decision, a turn that feels ordinary in the moment and irreversible in hindsight. In March of 2000, a young woman stepped away from the life she knew. 10 days later, her car was found destroyed at the edge of a forest. Everything she owned was still inside, except her. This is not a story about what happened. It is a story about what didn't. This is Obscura case. Leah Roberts was 23 years old. She grew up in Durham, North Carolina. Friends described her as quiet, but not withdrawn, thoughtful, creative, emotionally intense in a way she rarely showed. She loved books, music, long conversations that wandered instead of arriving. She was especially drawn to writers who believed movement could be a kind of rebirth. Jack Kerouac, The Open Road, Leaving Without Explaining Why. In early March of 2000, Leah told people she needed to get away. Not to escape danger, not to run from someone. Just to leave. She withdrew between $2,500 and $3,000 in cash, packed a few belongings, and brought along her kitten, Bee. There was no goodbye letter, no destination shared, no plan written down, only movement. Leah drove west, across states, through gas stations that blur together, diners where no one remembers faces for long. Receipts would later trace her path, like breadcrumbs that stop too soon. On March 13th, a gas receipt places Leah in Brooks, Oregon. That same day, a movie ticket shows she was in Bellingham, Washington, nearly 300 miles north. She was moving fast, faster than wandering suggests. No one knows why she chose Washington, or why she kept driving. 5 days later, March 18th, something unusual was found along a remote logging road near Canyon Creek, Washington. Clothing hung in the branches of trees. Placed, not scattered. Below the road, hidden by steep terrain and dense forest, sat a white Jeep Cherokee. It had crashed, rolled, and come to rest out of sight. Recovery crews described the terrain as difficult, slippery, dangerous. This was not a place you ended up accidentally. Inside the Jeep were Leah's clothes, her passport, jewelry, her checkbook. Even her kitten's food was still there. But Leah was not. There was no blood, no sign of injury, no evidence of a struggle. Footprints were found leading away from the Jeep. They stopped, not faded, not scattered. They simply ended. The Jeep was in neutral. There were no skid marks. Investigators would later suggest the crash may not have been accidental. Years later, the Jeep was re-examined. This time, investigators noticed something missed before. A starter wire had been cut, not damaged by the crash. Cut. A fingerprint was discovered under the hood. Male DNA was found on a piece of Leah's clothing. None of it led to an arrest. None of it led to Leah. Witnesses at a restaurant recalled Leah speaking with two men. They talked about books, about travel. One witness claimed Leah left with a man she called Barry. Police questioned a suspect. His DNA did not match. The lead went nowhere. Over time, 4 explanations emerged. First, accidental death. That Leah wandered into the wilderness and succumbed to exposure. Second, voluntary disappearance. That she staged the crash and chose to walk away. Third, foul play, suggested by the cut wire and unknown DNA. And fourth, investigative error. That critical evidence was missed in the earliest hours. None of these theories have been proven. All of them leave unanswered questions. Leah's family traveled to Washington. They retraced her route, distributed flyers, spoke to volunteers. Search teams covered miles of wilderness. Tips came in. Media attention followed. Then, faded. Leah did not. Receipts, a movie ticket, footprints that stop, a car in neutral, a forest that keeps its silence. Some cases are solved. Others remain questions we carry forward, not because they are dramatic, but because they are unresolved. Leah Roberts walked into the woods. She never returned. This is Obscura case, where every mystery deserves to be remembered.